Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Jeanette Andrada, and I help private practice owners increase profit margins using tax and accounting strategies. So, today I wanted to record this video because it is the end of tax season. Thank the Lord. In Texas, we had an extension up to June 15th because, in case you don't remember, we had this crazy snowstorm here. So, it's been pretty busy, but it's awesome. We're ready to get back into full on bookkeeping. But now that tax season is over, I really wanted to make this video to help help business owners understand the importance of reconciling their books and how it helps them keep clean financials throughout the year. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with you. What I wanted to do here is really go into depth of showing you guys how to reconcile your bank account. A lot of people might not fully understand what it means to reconcile an account. So when you reconcile, you're literally taking your bank statement, you're taking what's in QuickBooks, and you're matching it up. Now, if there's something that does not match up, there's going to be a couple of reasons, and that's going to require a little bit of your research. But doing this every single month is going to help you stay on track, make sure that you have accurate financials. So, in case you might already have QuickBooks and you use the bank feeds, so you already know when you're using your bank feeds, you go in, and you should be doing this on a weekly basis, no more than monthly, going in here and categorizing any transactions that are coming through to your bank account. So just to quickly show you, I'm going to go ahead and just add this. Let's say this is a marketing expense, which, okay, there's no marketing category. So I'm just going to call this telephone expense for a rental. And you're doing this throughout the month, you're adding it. So when items come up here in your bank feeds, they are not in QuickBooks. A lot of people get confused about that. These are just to help eliminate data entry. So back in the day when I started doing this a long time ago, there wasn't bank feeds. There weren't any bank feeds. So what I had to do is I had to physically go in here, and I had to go and add a new expense just like this. I choose the vendor, I choose which bank account it was paid with, the date, the category. In this case, we would just put like telephone expense. It's doing the same thing, right? We would do a rental for, $200, whatever the case may be. And then you would just save and close. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that because the bank feed already saved me time. So even though you're adding things through here, there are still possible ways for duplicates to be entered. I mean, this is not a perfect system, not yet, but yeah. So that's what our reconciliation process is for. Okay, I wanted to bring my face back on here. Okay, so once you're doing that, you're doing that throughout the month, which is great. That's awesome. That's half of it. So what you want to do each month is you want to go into your bank account, and you want to download your bank statements, or sometimes they mail you your bank statements. Now, when you have bank statements, it's always going to tell you this is your beginning balance, this is your ending balance. And let me look for a sample really quick, just in case you haven't seen that. Okay, thank God for Google. So what I did here is I just Googled a bank statement, and most bank statements look very similar to this. So just get your bank statement, kind of look around, and they might be in different places. Most of the times they're at the top. So you're always going to have the period of your bank statement, right? So this is from March 15, 2010 to April 18, 2010. Your opening balance as of March 15th was the 5234, 5,234 and 9 cents. It's going to tell you all your withdrawals and your deposits, and then you're going to have a closing balance, which is the closing period, on April 18th, 2010. And so in April, you will receive, or in May, I guess you would receive April through May 18th, and it's going to go that way. Most banks, thankfully, are from the first through the end of the month. It's not always the case. Credit cards especially kind of have like this weird halfway through the month statement. So you might have to remind yourself, or do a reminder to download your statements. Okay, so Let's go back into QuickBooks. And what you want to do is like you've added everything and this is all cleared out for the previous month. So if you go into accounting, QuickBooks has a really awesome reconciliation feature. I get questions a lot about switching to other types of software, other accounting software, which is not a problem. But what I see that a lot of accounting softwares lack is they either don't have the reconciliation feature, or sometimes they do and they're just cumbersome. So what you need to do is when you're in the reconciliation page, you're going to have this drop down right here. And these are going to be all your bank accounts, and all your liabilities and assets. So even though in this case I'm just talking about bank accounts, you also need to reconcile any loans. A loan, if you have a loan with the bank, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to have something that says this is what your balance was at the beginning of the month, this is how many payments you made, how much of it went to principal, interest, and then what is your closing balance. So you would do something very similar. In this case, let's just stick to the checking account. So this is a test account, so there's no data in here, or there is data in here, but it's not real data. Typically, you would have here an ending date saying last reconciled through. In this case, it would be reconciled through, March, March 14th, 2010. So this is just a fictitious example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4875. And then the ending date, I'm just going to do through May 31st, since right now we're in June 23rd. June hasn't finished. So you would again look at your bank statement, look at your credit card statement, your loan statement, and make sure that these match. Now, this beginning balance should match up your opening balance on your statement. If it doesn't, then there's something wrong. Something must have been deleted, added. And then that would require additional research of why that beginning balance is off. But if you, in theory and in a perfect world, this is always going to match up your bank statement, and then your ending balance would be entered directly from that bank statement with the ending date of the bank statement. Okay, you hit start reconciling, and you're going to receive. So all of these transactions right here are transactions. Since this is the first time I use this account, it's going to give me all these pop-ups, but these are all transactions that are in QuickBooks right now that have not been reconciled. That means you have not verified that this already came through your bank account. It's super important because if you are adding checks in here, let's say you are paying your rent and you make it a habit of going in here saying, okay, I paid my rental, or my landlord with this bank account, I paid rent, and then I'm gonna do this the date of. And keep in mind, this would be done beforehand. Okay, so like, let's say you wrote a check 71, you took it to your bank and you paid, that money's going to come out of your checking account. And I'm going to go ahead and save and close this. Oh, it doesn't let me. Oh, 1 second. Okay, it's not going to let me save it because I am in the test software. But let's say you did write a check and you put this in here, and the balance at the beginning of the period was $5,000. The ending was 4875. So let's just start checking off. And remember, you're comparing this to what is in your QuickBooks. I'm sorry, what is in your bank statement. So this $300, if you look at your bank statement over here, should be listed here, right? So on this date, there was a payment for $300. Got it. Okay, check. So I had to do a little bit of math because I just added like a random number at the beginning. But let's say the statement ending was 1699.50. And once I go through the bank statement and I'm checking off, verifying that all of these are, checking off, I'm down to zero. And so we're good to reconcile. But here's the thing. There are just a couple of transactions here that did not clear. So this is one of the reasons why you might have some expenses that are, or income that did not clear. Because in this example, you might have entered something, or in QuickBooks the date was the end of the month, but it didn't truly clear your bank account until the following month. So this is okay. We could leave this here because we're going to wait until the June statement comes in, and then these should be in the June statement. So that's one reason. Another reason that the amounts might not, or that there might be unclear transactions, is you might have duplicates in here, right? So if you had two $175 deposits in here, only one of them is going to clear, only one of them is going to reconcile. So the second one, what do we do with it? So we want to verify that it is a duplicate and it's not something that we thought we were going to get paid and we just haven't received the money in our bank account. So if we do verify that, then just remove it, delete it, because at that point, it's QuickBooks is thinking that you've made more money than you truly have because you never received it in your bank account. Another thing, or another reason that things might not clear is because you might think that you're getting paid, and so you might have a deposit within QuickBooks thinking that, okay, I know that check is going to clear my bank account. And when you get your bank statement, it doesn't clear. So what happened to that check? So that's where you need to do a little bit of digging and research and figure out, like, hey, I thought I deposited this check, but maybe I forgot to, and I need to go take it to the bank now. And once you've deposited, it will clear your bank account. So those are the little things that you need to kind of be on the lookout for, and those are the excuse me, those are usually the main reasons why something does not clear when you're doing your reconciliations. So remember, when you reconcile, everything needs to be gone from here, with the exception of maybe some transactions that have not cleared. If you wrote a check to somebody, it might take them more than 30 days to cash it. You leave that in here, right? So let's say this check that you wrote to somebody was not cashed, right? And 1754. Okay, so I just changed the amount just to kind of give you a scenario. So let's say you wrote a check on 4/8/21 and it's entered into QuickBooks. You entered that to keep track of it, and it's already end of May. And this check that you wrote to Chin's Gas for 54.55 has not cleared your bank account. So you see how we've cleared everything except this transaction. So at that point, what you want to see, some people, it takes them a while to cash checks. So if it's already been past 30 days, you might want to follow up with them, and you might want to check, are you going to cash this check? Did you lose it? Did it get lost in the mail? So at that point, you could void it, or at that point you could you could figure out what do you do with this. So that's something to always keep in mind. So now that we've zeroed everything out, we could go ahead and hit finish now. It's been reconciled. And so, like I mentioned earlier, there was nothing before, but this, when you go into the reconciliation page, it's going to tell you when's the last time you reconciled, and notice that the beginning balance is different now. The beginning balance is no longer those $5,000. It's the 1754, which is what we had put was the ending balance from the previous month, right? The closing balance. So every month you want to make sure that you're doing this in order to make sure that you have clean financials. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. I really focus in on helping new businesses getting set up on their QuickBooks. I currently have a program that's running. It's a QuickBooks training as well as a tax and accounting Q&A. So if you're starting a business, or you've already been in business and you just can't really wrap your mind around all of this, or you know that something looks wrong, schedule a meeting with us. So our one-on-one, it's a one-on-one where you get to meet with me or somebody from my team, where we walk through your entire business model and we set up a chart of accounts. We do a training on QuickBooks, and then we also are including a free checkup within the next 3 months. So we would meet with you, we would set you up, we would kind of guide you on how you should be doing things, the best practices. And then in 3 months or the next quarter, we would meet again, review your work, and give you recommendations for improvement to help you save on taxes, to help you understand your financials and whatnot. So if you're a new business owner, don't feel that you're alone and that you have to do this alone. We are here to help you. I'm going to leave my link down below as well as a free checklist. It's a checklist, a month end bookkeeping checklist to keep you on track, to remind you these are the things that I should be doing every single month and every single week in order for me to stay on top of my books. All right, guys. I really, really, really hope this was helpful. Again, I'll leave my links down below and I hope to see you guys very soon.